seeing a classic film noir movie from the balcony of the Castro Theater as a film noir festival, as a world tourist destination. It's like seeing the Eiffel Tower.
That was Kevin Hunsanger. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Every week on this podcast, you'll hear from business owners, bartenders, artists, and other San Franciscans, telling stories and trying to answer the question, what is it about this place? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10, Part 2. In Part 1, Kevin talked about how he became part owner of Green Apple Books. In this podcast, he'll talk about stepping away from the bookstore to pursue his latest dream, establishing a San Francisco Cultural History Museum. Here's Kevin.
So Green Apple is extremely rewarding over almost 30 years, but with the exception of, being married to my wonderful wife, I can't imagine doing anything for 30 years ever again. So I ripped the Band-Aid, and as of January 1st this year, I've left Green Apple to pursue the full-time creation of a San Francisco Cultural History Museum. And I think a lot of people have complained over the years about what San Francisco has lost, and I'm trying to do my part to protect and preserve and to display what we've lost.
Because there's a lot, and it's I have my own reasons of why I like the idea, but I want to hear what what draws you to be that person, not just to be like, oh man, it would be cool if we had that, but no, I'm gonna make it.
Yes, well, a lot of that has to do with the people that I met through the years at Green Apple. I was very fortunate to work with a lot of the creators and the creatives in this city, and over the last few years, with a combination of people moving out of the city or who've really been dying off, they're going away. But I looked around and realized that there's still enough of them here that though now is the time. If somebody doesn't act now and try to get these stories told, they will be forgotten. And my specific approach is to kind of go after the objects that San Franciscans, natives or people who have been here a long time, go like, oh, the city's not the same because this thing isn't here or this place isn't around anymore. And then the tourists that come to the city, expecting to see beat culture or some hippies or something like that, or Laugh-In Sal or something from Playland at the Beach. We're drawn to San Francisco for a myriad of reasons, for a variety of reasons. It resonates strongly with people, I think, on a very personal level. And if you come to San Francisco right now, it's really hard to get a sense of that. And certainly not all under one roof, all alive inside for a dime, So I've always been interested in sort of the carny and the cabinet of curiosities kind of feel. And that's what we're going after with the City Museum. We want to have little examples of a lot of different things that somebody who's lived here their whole life might walk in and go, oh my God, that's that thing. I never thought I'd see that again. I haven't thought about that in 50 years. Yeah. And then somebody from Nebraska comes in and goes, what is that thing? And they go, oh, wow, I didn't know that tied into that, And,
or someone who moved here 20 years ago would be like, oh, I've heard about that. Or or I've never heard about that.
Right, exactly.
So learning and
exactly, learning and sharing. It really is. I've always, as my time with Green Apple, I always felt, my early days, I wanted to be an educator. I thought if I were to pursue any career path with school, with education, it would be as a teacher. But Green Apple very quickly allowed me the opportunity to share my knowledge with people in a very direct manner. I could put this book in your hand and I could tell you why I felt is something important for you to know. And you could take that and you could read that and then you could come back to me a week later and you say, thank you, I love that, what's next? It's immediately gratifying and a very personal connection. I quickly started book reviewing and worked on a larger scale of that with KFOG radio show as their book reviewer, and be able to broaden that out a little bit. But I still really felt like I always had that personal connection, and so this is a way for me to kind of funnel that, just to be a funnel from history to you. I just want to be the intermediary, and I really feel like this project allows me to do that in a very important not-for-profit way. Green Apple has been a wonderful business and it's been run as an ethical business, but there's something about a for-profit corporation that I have just had it up to my ears with now. It's the greed in the United States and the greed in the, it's no surprise whether they just, that I saw in the paper yesterday that, that top 36, billionaires are worth as much as 3.8 billion people. And I can't get my head around the fact that, that these PG&E is bankrupt. They're filing for bankruptcy, but they still give their CEO, millions and, of dollars in a golden parachute. It's just, it disgusts me. And I just don't, again, I want to be more involved in the nonprofit sector. I want to be more involved in the common good. And I want to share these artifacts and these stories with people who haven't heard them before. So that's my mission. That's my goal with the City Museum, is to basically be a funnel for San Francisco's culture.
That's beautiful. Can you tell me about sort of, the process of how you got started with this, who you're working with, where you are in the process of getting this thing open? And
sure. Well, the entity exists, so that's a great starting point. I've spent the last 6 months creating the corporate entity, filing all the paperwork, getting our board of directors together, the bylaws. So that's been great. A wonderful process of learning for me.
Did your experience running Green Apple help with any of that? Like, as far as the business mind set?
No. It definitely didn't. Okay. This was an entirely new process, working with, the peculiarities of the one step forward, two step back. Like, you have to file this paper so you can get this number before you can apply that number to this
you're starting
filing.
From the ground up.
So now I feel like I have a great strength in running a business, and just because this is a not-for-profit, my partner and I in this, which we can discuss later, we both have strong histories of great success in running businesses, and that's going to be a very, very important part of our operations. I think, like bookstores, people come to charities, or people open bookstores, I think, a lot because they love books, and they think, I'm retired now, I love reading, or I want to have a new business, I love books, I'm going to start a bookstore. They might know books, they don't know business. That's one of the things that was crucial about Green Apple, that Savoy founded that store on sound business principles, and when he sold that store to us, he had shown us how to run a successful business. So the three of us ran a successful business, and that store it's tight. I know it is. And these are sound business principles that we're not everybody has those.
Right.
And going forward with this, we will apply sound business principles to running this entity. So I think that does give us a great advantage over I want to save the whales, because I love whales, but you do have to run a business. So
the new part of this is starting something from the ground up.
Starting something from the ground up has been very challenging.
How has that been? Yeah.
It's been very challenging. There's no two ways about it. I was working triple time for 6 months while still at Green Apple Books to create the entity, to try to get all the ducks in a row. But as of what's today, the 25th? 22nd. Time flies, but not that fast. At any rate, so I'm like 20 days into January. So I'm
3 weeks.
Yeah. So this is 3 weeks of being able to dedicate myself full time. As of January 1st, I had stepped away to dedicate full time efforts to creating this, and it's really been. How can time fly so fast and move so slowly? I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. I'm getting a lot of exclamation points, not a lot of dollar signs. So I guess I'm saying I'm doing a lot of inging these days. I'm working on platforming, campaigning, fundraising, and we're going to be doing some pop-up stuff, and we'll have some galas, and we're not looking to have an open storefront for at least third quarter, maybe even the tail end of this year.
Of this year,
yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's fast.
It is fast. It's going to be fast even at this point.
I thought you were going to be like 2021 or I don't know.
No.
Wow,
we really want to get this ball rolling. We have a lot of stuff already, so our financing goals right now are to we want to go after specific collections and specific acquisitions. Like the last month, my priority has been the Western Edition in the jazz culture, with the Fillmore Jazz District, and then also the Japanese internment camps. So I've been community outreach and personal research on like the Japanese art. The art that came out of these internment camps are spectacular. I just got some Takahashi birds, which are these beautiful little brooches. So a husband and wife, he would carve them, she would paint them, and they must have had an Audubon book or something like that there. So they probably did 50 of these types of birds, and they're spectacularly beautiful and extremely rare. So I was just able to to secure 3 of these Takahashi birds with their original cards. 2 of the 3 have been signed. They're very delicate, very small. That's kind of the hard part about this is I'll go, I'm trying to fill a major space. We want to have, our goal is to have a 5,000 to 6,000 square foot space. We'll have a permanent collection of San Francisco objects, but we'll also want to have a rotating, exhibits of Greater Bay Area influences, current artists, to have, galleries to purchase art, a cafe, food, beer, wine, etc. A gift shop, but we would like to also have rare objects available in the gift shop. Would be kind of fun. Go to a museum and be able to leave with a museum quality piece. But we're not like a hoity-toity. We're not going to be like a chrome and glass kind of white walls. It's not going to be like walking into MoMA. We definitely strive to reflect San Francisco culture, and this is going to be more of a folk art museum, so it appeals to me much more if the pieces we have are chipped, torn, if there's an old punk rock flyer that has tape on it. We want these things used. That the life force in used objects means everything to us.
How far back are you planning to go with history?
We're kind of focusing on the greater 20th, the 20th century. We see it as an earthquake sandwich of San Francisco culture. So we're not going to go too far before 06, not too much after 89. Although I'd love to have like Mark Pauline, the Survival Research Laboratory. I'd love to have a robot. Burning Man was very important to San Francisco. John Law, one of the co-founders of Burning Man's on our board of directors. He's a wonderful neon art artist. So some of the work from Burning Man, I hope will have a home here. But yeah, mostly 20th century. And, you can go to any restaurant that's been around for more than its time in San Francisco, and the walls are chock-a-block with newspapers and black and white photos. So we're going to try to we're striving to go away from the graphical elements on the walls and really focus on the objects or the realia. So if I have say a broadside or some poems by Lawrence Ferlinghetti, I sure hope I can get a typewriter to go underneath those. Right. Photographs on the wall. We need the cameras too.
Or a piano.
Wouldn't that be something?
Your white whale, huh?
That sure is. Yeah, very well put. Yeah.
So if you're listening listening. And
yes, Condor Club. So the obscure. Mm-hmm. That's the official name.
That's
is the San
title.
Francisco Cultural History Museum. We are working on it. It's the City Museum is something I've always wanted. It's the San Francisco's the city.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the Secretary of State did not see things my way and didn't allow the use so far. But we're going to see, what can change with that. So, but as of now, the San Francisco Cultural History Museum, SFCHM. So if you want to donate, help us buy a vowel. That'd be great. Well, I suppose you can get in touch. We've got the website is the sfcitymuseum.org. That's a good start. Instagram, I think it's sfcitymuseum.org is the website. SF City Museum is, I think, both of the Instagram and the Facebook pages. All that's to be determined. We're platforming this week, so
and there's the ING. Is there a way to contribute at all those locations?
Yes, exactly. So we're working with Flip Cause, which is a great nonprofit web culture customer relation management software. Spectacular. That's the really neat thing, about nonprofits is you work in the for-profit world and you just kind of like jump in there and just start swinging. But nonprofits, everybody kind of works together. And so we're partnering. Our fiscal sponsor is Intersection for the Arts, which is a great San Francisco institution. And so we're really able to, there's that extension of community. It's constantly gratifying. So that to me, it's a different thing, but applying the same principles of community that I so cherish at Green Apple. I feel like I've left one place, but I've gone to 50 other places at once. This is a great community still. San Francisco really has it, and I think we can all work together to make it a better place.
That was Kevin Hunsanger. Please join us next week when we'll have a special Valentine's Day podcast for you. It'll feature a couple who met, married, and are now raising a kid in the city. Music for the podcast is by Otis McDonald. Film photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on everything we do. Dig through our past episodes, which are up on our website, storiedsf.com. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. Send comments or suggestions to storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.